Today we're going to talk about another iconic handgun, the Colt 1911. Designed by John Browning, originally in 1905 was the request put in to have him make a .45 semi-automatic pistol to be used primarily because in the Philippines, our guys were being hacked up by people with machetes after they've received 6-7 rounds of .38 in them and didn't die until after they killed the fellow doing the shooting. So John Browning came up with this gun, the 1911, and it served our military wonderfully until 1986 when it was replaced with a Beretta. Now, I'm not going to talk about why it was replaced, but a lot of people feel that the 1911, the .45 round, was the ultimate in man-stopping power. And I feel the same way. Now, why am I holding two of them? And this is what's going to make this video a little different than everybody else's out there. I'm going to be showing you the takedown of a standard 1911. This happens to be a Colt National Gold Cup match, and Smith & Wesson enhanced full-size guide rod system. So one has a full-size guide rod, one has the standard guide rod. And I'm going to show you the differences between the two, how to take them apart, how to put them back together again, and maybe I'll go over some of the benefits of what each gun has as differences. Okay, let's head on over to the workbench. Okay, here we are at the workbench, and what I have here are my two 1911s. I'm going to quickly go over a couple of little visual differences. Okay, both have adjustable rear sights, slightly different. This is the standard sight that comes on the Gold Cup National Match. This is the standard that comes on the enhanced version of the Smith & Wesson. The Smith & Wesson has striations on the front and rear to make pulling the slide easy from different angles and different positions. The Colt only has the rear striations. Both have skeletonized triggers and hammers, though different styles. The Colt has the standardized manual safety, and of course the safety for the grip safety. The Smith & Wesson has ambidextrous safeties for each side, plus they are extra long to make it easier to snap that safety off. Okay, so here we go. Now let's practice some safe gun handling. We're going to remove the slide, check to see that the gun is empty. We'll do the same with the Colt. And there. Now I'm going to show you right now a quick, easy way to spot a difference. When you pull the slide back on the Colt, the only thing that sticks out, protrudes out of the front, is the barrel. With the Smith & Wesson, when I pull the slide back, you'll see two protrusions. The bottom is the long, full-length guide rod, and then up top, of course, is the barrel. So what makes them so different? The long guide rod is supposed to add some stability to the gun as it recoils. I don't understand personally exactly how that works, but you know what? I've never gone for the long extended guide rods. To me, I'd rather have a gun that's easy to take apart and put back together again, that I don't need tools. So that's my personal opinion. And I'm not saying those who are proponents of the extended guide rod, there's something wrong with it. That's their opinion. They think it works better for them, and so be it. Let's get to getting these apart. I'm going to start with the Colt because it's such an easy gun to take apart. I'm going to start with the takedown. So what I'm going to do is, there's a button right in the front here, and I'm going to push that button down, which is your spring cover, and I'm going to take, this is what they call the cam. I'm going to slide the cam halfway over and slowly let the spring cover come up. And I'm going to keep my finger over it because that spring otherwise would shoot it across the room. Now with this in this position, I have released all the tension on the slide, and I can move the slide back into this position. And right here is a small half moon sort of cut in here. There's a larger squared off cut, which is your slide stop release. That's where your slide stop release locks into. But this half moon, that allows you, from the other side, pushing that pin, to lift your slide stop release out. And there we go. So that's the first part of the gun being taken apart. Slide the rear off. All we have to do is take this cam and slide it over to a quarter cock position on the opposite side, and it slides right out. Then we can take the spring right out. We could have taken the spring out before that too, but that's okay. And then we just slide out the barrel. So here we have all the parts all taken apart. That's how easy and quick it takes to take apart a 1911 with a short standard guide rod. Okay. Now I'm going to point out a few things and talk about some inner workings of the 1911, so you'll have a better understanding of what goes on and which will make it easier for you to dismantle and reassemble the 1911. First of all, on the spring, this ends abruptly, as if someone just took a clipper and clipped it. That's normal. That is always the part that's going to go into the spring guide or spring cover. The other side has a finished edge to it, and it's pushed up and locked onto your guide rod. I'm not going to pull it off of this guide rod because there's no reason to, and there's always a chance of distorting the spring. Now, on the barrel, you have your little lug here that is, I call it a locking lug, that locks the barrel in place into the frame. Okay, and I'll show you how that works. This little hole here has to match up with this hole here on the inside. And when that's matched up properly, what will happen is that. So now the barrel does have some movement to it. And the reason it has movement is because there's two positions. One position is for the gun to be loaded, and the other position, or unloaded, going through its motions, the other position is having the barrel locked within the frame and slide. So that connects all three of these together and stabilizes it and locks it is inside the frame. There's a couple of slots that match the slots right here on the barrel. So that locks it right into place. So you can see that's how the inside of the barrel looks when it's locked up. Okay. That's the same on either gun. No differences. So now let's put this gun back together again. Oh, if you wanted a little lesson on cleaning, basically you're going to clean also all inside and out and everything. Drop a couple of lubes down into here. Drop a couple of lubes down into your trigger well. A couple of drops of lube on your firing pin block. A drop of lube on the back here, which is your firing pin and firing pin spring. And make sure you clean out really well those locking lug slots that I told you about in there. You're going to do the same on the barrel, clean out the barrel, and basically all the other parts you're going to wipe them down. That's as easy it is to clean a 1911, and make sure you get the outer ramp clean too. Okay, let's put this back together again. It's real simple. Barrel goes in first. I'm going to put the locking lug in. We put that in, that quarter turn that way, full turn this way. Put the spring in. Make sure your little lug is facing down. Slide your slide on here. And you can use your barrel to make sure the hole is lined up. So when you put this in, right there, it's all set, and you can now pull the barrel, and you'll see the barrel won't move. This may wiggle a little bit. It shows positive connection. The little moon-shaped cut goes right above the slot, this opening. You pull back by the way, this little plunger right here, that little plunger right there, and can have some real tension on it. People always push it this way and stuff, and it can cause you to get idiot marks there. What I do is I just take a little flathead screwdriver and I get it in here and just push that back so I could slide this right over there, line up the holes, and it goes right in. I use 2 fingers, but it actually only needs 1. From this point on, what you gotta do is push the up forward, take your spring cover, put it on, press it down, and push that over. Done. Put together. Boom. Now I'm going to show you how fast I could take this apart and put it together without the teaching part of it and the explanation. This gun comes apart so fast, it is amazing. So here we go. Let's time it. I'm going to say go now. Done. Okay, that was 15 seconds. Let's see how long it takes to put it back together again, and we will start now. Boom. Okay. 15 seconds to take it apart, 30 seconds to put it back together again. Less than a minute. Take it apart and put it back together again. Okay. So now that we have this one all done, so here's the Smith & Wesson. And as you can see, it's got a full-length guide rod. And to take this apart, it's a little more difficult because the sharp edges around the spring cover where they have to leave it open for the guide rod to pass through. You can use a stick to hold this down and push the camera over. You can try your finger, you can try a screwdriver. I don't like metal on metal unless I have no choice. Or you can get one of these nifty little cam tools. Some of the guns these days come with it. You press this down and you can turn the cam. I just turn it enough so the cam is on top of the spring guide, or the spring cover, and then I cover it with my finger and pull it the rest of the way with my hand. If you're not strong enough to do that, okay, so there you go, and I do this opposite to put it back on. You see? Now if you're not strong enough to go like this and hold that down if it's cutting too much into you, you can use this to turn it all the way, but keep your hand over it so when you lift it up, you have this captured, okay? That relieves the tension. Bring the crescent above the slide lock. Remove that slide lock pin. Slide it forward. And now here's the other part that gets tricky. very difficult to get this over here, right? It doesn't want to move it. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the cam a quarter that way and remove the cam. Then we're going to pull the spring forward and off as gently as possible, grabbing it from the base as much as possible so you don't distort the spring. That's another reason why these things get me crazy, because it's easily distort the spring. Now you can lift that out easily. If you don't take the spring off first, you'll have a real hell of a time getting it off of here. It doesn't angle nice. Then the barrel, you give it a little shake, and it comes out. There you go. As simple as that. Cleaning is exactly the same. Okay, let's put this back together again. We're going to put this in first, and then we're going to put this in second. Take your spring. Remember, there's two edges, and here's a good way to see it. There's that cut side. There's that finished side. And then we can take the spring. Remember, the curled end goes on here first. We're going to push that all the way on, bring it in here, and finish the process, get it in there. We're going to put the cam in here in its quarter position and then bring it back around this way. We're going to make sure the lug is down to make it easier. So now we're going to slide this on here, just like this. Make sure the series safety is down. This slides back. That crescent over the hole. We move the barrel back and forth to line up that, and in this case, we can just press that right in. Bring this forward. Put this on. Bring this down and move that over to hold it. If you can't do it with your finger, you're going to have an issue. You got to bring this down like this and move that over to capture it, because then you got to get this in here like that so you can move that and put it right in there. Okay? So there we go. We're just going to put that in there and clip it right in. And there you go. Two 1911s. Field stripped and reassembled. Hope you enjoyed it. And good night.